Ruben Amorims finally changes his formation. What this means for Manchester United. Welcome back to United Daily Updates, your trusted source for everything Manchester United. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel where we break down every match, every tactical change, and every piece of news about our beloved club. We keep it real, we keep it honest, and we keep you updated with what really matters at Old Trafford. Today we're talking about something massive. Something that could change the entire direction of our season. Ruben Amorims has finally done what many fans and critics have been begging him to do for weeks. He changed his formation. The big question everyone is asking. For weeks now, Manchester United fans have been frustrated. We've watched match after match where the same tactics just weren't working. We've seen the same formation fail us time and time again. And through it all, Ruben Amorims stuck to his guns. He kept playing his beloved 3-4-3 system, the same one that brought him so much success at Sporting Lisbon. But here's the thing. What works in Portugal doesn't always work in the Premier League. And after several disappointing results at Old Trafford, something had to give. So when the team sheet came out for the Bournemouth match, fans looked at it and thought, here we go again. Same old formation. Same old problems. But then the whistle blew and something different happened. Something that caught everyone by surprise. Amorims had changed his system. Finally. Why this matters so much. Before we dive into what actually happened against Bournemouth, let's talk about why this is such a big deal. When Amorims joined Manchester United in November last year, he came with a reputation. He was a young Portuguese manager who had done incredible things at Sporting Lisbon. He played attractive football. His teams won trophies. And he did it all with one specific formation. The 3-4-3. He loved this system so much that he once joked not even the Pope could convince him to change it. He said it was his job, his responsibility, his life. He was committed to it completely. And you know what? We can respect that commitment. As United fans, we want managers who have clear ideas and stick to them. But there's a difference between having principles and being stubborn. There's a difference between believing in your system and refusing to adapt when things aren't working. The problem was simple. The 3-4-3 just wasn't working at Manchester United. Week after week, we saw the same issues. Our defense looked shaky. We couldn't keep clean sheets. We were conceding goals at an alarming rate. And while we could create chances going forward, we weren't clinical enough to make up for all the goals we were letting in. Critics started speaking up. Former players questioned whether Amorims was being too rigid. Fans on social media were getting frustrated. The pressure was building. And with important players about to leave for the Africa Cup of Nations, Amorims knew he had to do something different. What actually changed against Bournemouth? Let me paint you a picture of what happened on that day. When the team sheet dropped before kickoff, most of us looked at it and sighed. There it was again. Lainery Yoro, Aiden Heaven, and Luke Shaw in what looked like a back three. Amad Diallo and Diogo Dalot as wingbacks. The usual 3-4-3 setup we had seen so many times before. But then the match started and something was different. Very different. Yoro wasn't playing as a wide centre-back. He was playing as a proper right-back. The kind of right-back we used to see in the old days at United. He was staying wide, hugging the touchline, ready to support attacks down that right side. Shaw wasn't playing as a left-sided centre-back either. He was tucking inside, playing much more centrally alongside Heaven. These two formed a solid partnership in the middle of our defence. And Dalot? He wasn't a wing-back anymore. He was positioned on the left side, playing as a traditional left-back. This was huge. This meant we were actually playing with a back four. A proper back four. Something we hadn't seen under Amorims until now. But the changes didn't stop there. The really interesting stuff was happening further up the pitch. Amad Diallo was given complete freedom to push forward. Instead of being stuck in that wing-back role where he had defensive duties, he could now focus on what he does best. Attacking. Creating chances. Making things happen in the final third. Mason Mount was on the left side of the attack. Mateus Cunha and Brian Bumo were playing as our two strikers up front. And Bruno Fernandes? He was playing in his natural position. The number 10 role. The position where he has always been most effective for us. Behind all of them sat Casemiro. Alone. As a single defensive midfielder. His job was simple but crucial. Protect the back four. Break up opposition attacks. Keep things solid in the middle of the park. When you put it all together, it looked like a 4-1-3-2 formation. 4 defenders. 1 holding midfielder. 3 attacking midfielders. 2 strikers. Or if you want to simplify it even more, you could call it a 4-4-2 when we didn't have the ball. This was completely different from anything we had seen from Amorim at Manchester United. This was adaptation. This was flexibility. This was a manager finally listening to what the situation demanded. How did it actually work on the pitch? Now here comes the really interesting part. How did this new system actually perform? Did it solve our problems? Did it make us better? The answer is complicated. It's a bit like a movie with an incredible first half and a chaotic second half. Let me start with the positives because there were plenty of them. The first half against Bournemouth was probably the best football we've played all season under Amorim. Some people said it was the best we've looked since that opening day match against Arsenal. And you know what? They might be right. We were electric going forward. We were creating chance after chance. The front five of Ahmad, Mount, Cunha, Mbeumo, and Fernandes were linking up beautifully. They were moving the ball quickly. They were making intelligent runs. They were causing Bournemouth all kinds of problems. The stats from that first half were incredible. Manchester United had 17 shots. Let me repeat that. 17 shots in just 45 minutes of football. That was the most shots any Premier League team had managed in a single half all season. Our expected goals number was 2.62. That means based on the quality of our chances, we should have scored almost 3 goals. We were dominant. We were aggressive. We were everything Manchester United should be. Jamie Carragher, who's never been shy about criticising United, said on Sky Sports that it was the best he had seen us play under Amorim. He said it reminded him of the old days under Sir Alex Ferguson. Fast attacking football. Players being energetic. Making runs forward. Being positive. Winning the ball back early. That's high praise coming from someone who played for Liverpool. The goals came too. Ahmad scored the opener and it came directly from his advanced position in the new formation. Dalot crossed the ball in from the left. Cunha missed the first contact. But Ahmad was there in the box, exactly where a winger should be, to finish it off. The second goal came from a set piece with Casemiro heading it in. But you couldn't argue that we didn't deserve to be ahead. We were 2-1 up at halftime and it could have been more. Everything looked perfect. The new formation was working. Amorim had cracked the code. We were going to build on this and turn our season around. Then came the second half. When things fell apart. The second half of that Bournemouth match will go down as one of the most chaotic in Premier League history. The match ended 4-4. Yes, you read that right. 4 goals each. 8 goals in total. What happened? How did we go from dominating in the first half to being part of a goal fest in the second? The truth is our defensive problems didn't go away just because we changed formation. And Bournemouth are a very good attacking team. They have quality players who can hurt you if you give them space and time. Our defense looked vulnerable. We were caught out of position. We made mistakes. We gave away silly goals. And before we knew it, the game had completely turned on its head. This highlighted something important. Changing formation isn't a magic solution to all our problems. Yes, we were better going forward. Yes, we created more chances. Yes, we looked more dangerous. But we still have work to do at the back. Part of the problem was personnel. We were missing senior centre-backs Matthijs de Ligt and Harry Maguire through injury. Aiden Heaven is a young player who's still learning. The defensive unit as a whole is still finding their feet under new manager with new tactics. And here's a scary stat for you. Manchester United have only kept 1 clean sheet this entire season. 1. That's unacceptable for a club of our size and ambition. It doesn't matter if we score 3 or 4 goals if we're also conceding 3 or 4 at the other end. What Amorim said after the match. After the final whistle, Amorim faced the media and he was honest about what he saw. He didn't try to spin it as a complete success or a total failure. He was realistic. He said there were a lot of good things but also a lot of things to work on. He made an interesting point about how people focus too much on whether it's a back 4, back 3, or back 5. What really matters are the details. Understanding the momentum of the game. Being clinical when you get chances. He acknowledged that against a very good team like Bournemouth, we created enough chances to win the game. The frustrating part was not being able to see it through. But then he said something really important. He said the performance was completely different from our last 2 home games. The result might have been similar in terms of dropped points, but the way we played was miles better. This is the key point. This is what we should focus on as fans. Yes, we didn't win. Yes, we conceded 4 goals. Yes, it was frustrating to throw away a lead. But we finally saw something different. We saw attacking intent. We saw creativity. We saw the kind of football that gets you off your seat. Amorim also talked about adapting to whatever challenges come their way. With injuries piling up and players leaving for international duty, United need to be flexible. They need to find different ways to score goals and win matches. That's the sign of a good manager. Someone who can adapt. Someone who can change when the situation demands it. Someone who isn't so married to their ideas that they can't see when something isn't working. Why the change was necessary. Let's step back for a moment and talk about why Amorim needed to make this change in the first place. The 3-4-3 system he brought from Sporting Lisbon works really well when you have the right players for it. You need athletic wingbacks who can run up and down the pitch all game. You need 3 solid centre-backs who understand how to cover for each other. You need forwards who can press and work hard defensively. But here's the problem. Manchester United squad wasn't built for that system. Erik ten Hag didn't play 3-4-3. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't play 3-4-3. Jose Mourinho didn't play 3-4-3. These players have spent years playing in back 4 systems. When you suddenly ask them to play in a completely different way, there's going to be a learning curve. And that learning curve can be painful. It can lead to mistakes. It can lead to dropped points. It can lead to frustration. On top of that, United were about to lose some key players to the Africa Cup of Nations. Amad Diallo, Nasser Mazraoui, and Brian Bumo were all set to leave for international duty. That meant Amorim would have even fewer options to choose from. He couldn't afford to be stubborn anymore. He had to adapt. He had to find a system that worked with the players he had available. And that's exactly what he did against Bournemouth. What this means for the future. So where do we go from here? What does this tactical change mean for Manchester United going forward? The honest answer is we don't know yet. One match isn't enough to judge whether this new formation is the solution to all our problems. We need to see it again. We need to see it in different situations. We need to see if Amorim sticks with it or if he goes back to his old ways. But there are reasons to be optimistic. First, we finally have proof that Amorim is willing to change. He's not as stubborn as we feared. He can look at what's happening on the pitch and make adjustments. That's a crucial quality for any manager, especially in the Premier League where every team is different and every match presents new challenges. Second, we saw what this team is capable of when they play to their strengths. That first half against Bournemouth showed us the potential. When we play with energy and attacking intent, when we get our best players in their best positions, we can be really good. Third, this formation might suit our squad better. Playing with a back 4 is more natural for most of our defenders. Getting Fernandes into that number 10 role unlocks his creativity. Giving Amad freedom to attack lets him use his pace and skill. These are all good things. But we also need to be realistic about the challenges ahead. Our defensive record is terrible and it won't improve overnight just because we changed formation. We need to work on the basics. We need better communication at the back. We need to stop making individual mistakes. We need to be more organized when teams attack us. We also need to be more clinical in front of goal. Creating 17 shots is great, but we should have scored more than 2 goals from that many chances. In the Premier League, you have to take your opportunities when they come because teams will punish you at the other end. The bigger picture. Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture for a moment. What does all of this tell us about where Manchester United are right now? We're in a transition period. That's clear. We have a new manager who's trying to implement his ideas. We have a squad that's still learning how to play together. We have injuries and absences that are making things more difficult. But transition periods are normal in football. Every big club goes through them. The key is coming out the other side stronger and better. What's encouraging is that Amorim seems to understand what needs to be done. He's not blindly sticking to a system that isn't working. He's experimenting. He's trying new things. He's looking for solutions. That Bournemouth match, despite the final score, showed us something important. It showed us that when this team plays with confidence and freedom, they can create chances and score goals. The attacking talent is there. The quality is there. What we need now is consistency. We need to see this kind of performance week after week. We need to tighten up defensively while maintaining that attacking threat. We need to turn draws into wins. What the fans think. I've been reading comments from United fans across social media and the reaction to this formation change has been mostly positive. People are excited. They are hopeful. They feel like finally something is changing. Many fans have been saying the same thing. They don't mind if we try something and it doesn't work perfectly right away. What they mind is doing the same thing over and over while expecting different results. That's the definition of madness. Seeing Amorim be flexible and willing to adapt has given fans confidence in him. It shows his listening. It shows his learning about the Premier League and what works here. It shows he puts winning above his own ego. Of course, there are still skeptics. Some fans point to the 4 goals we conceded and say nothing has really changed. Some worry that we're going to keep dropping points no matter what formation we play. And you know what? Those concerns are valid. We do need to fix our defensive issues. We do need to start winning more games. But at least now we're trying something different. At least now we have a reason to believe things can improve. The road ahead. Manchester United have a long season ahead of them. There are still so many matches to play. So many points to fight for. So many challenges to overcome. The formation change against Bournemouth might be the start of something good. Or it might just be one experiment among many as Amorim tries to find the right formula. We won't know for a while yet. What we do know is this. The Premier League is ruthless. It doesn't give you time to figure things out slowly. Every week matters. Every point matters. Every decision matters. Amorim needs to find a system that works and stick with it long enough for the players to master it. He needs to fix the defensive problems that have plagued us all season. He needs to make sure we're taking our chances when they come. But he also needs to keep that attacking spirit we saw in the first half against Bournemouth. That energy. That creativity. That willingness to take risks and play exciting football. Because at the end of the day, that's what Manchester United is all about. We're an attacking team. We're a team that goes for the win. We're a team that entertains. If Amorim can find a way to combine defensive solidity with attacking flair, we'll be onto something special. If he can get the best out of players like Fernandes, Ahmad, and the rest of our talented squad, we can still achieve great things this season. Final thoughts. The Manchester United journey under Ruben Amorims is far from over. In fact, it feels like it's only just beginning. That match against Bournemouth, with all its chaos and excitement, might be remembered as a turning point. The moment when Amorims showed he could adapt. The moment when we saw what this team could really do. Was it perfect? No. Did we get the result we wanted? No. But did we see progress? Did we see something different? Did we see reasons to be hopeful? Absolutely yes. As fans, that's all we can ask for right now. Progress. Improvement. A sense that we're moving in the right direction even if the journey is bumpy. Amorims said something after the match that really stuck with me. He talked about how finding solutions with the players you have is the fun part of being a manager. Despite the frustration of dropping points, he seemed energized by the challenge. He seemed ready to keep working and keep improving. That's the attitude we need. From the manager. From the players. From us as fans. So what happens next? We watch. We support. We hope. We believe that these changes will lead to better results. We trust that Amorim knows what he's doing and that he'll keep adapting until he finds the right formula. The formation change against Bournemouth showed us one thing clearly. Ruben Amorims is not afraid to change. He's not too proud to admit when something isn't working. He's willing to try new things in the search for success. And for Manchester United fans who have been frustrated by the stubborn tactics of recent weeks, that's incredibly refreshing. That's what we needed to see. That's what gives us hope. The season is long. There's still time to turn things around. There's still time to challenge for trophies and fight for a top 4 finish. But it starts with being brave enough to change. Being flexible enough to adapt. Being smart enough to learn from mistakes. Amorim took that first step against Bournemouth. Now we need to see if he can build on it. If he can take what worked and refine it. If he can fix what didn't work and improve it. One thing is certain. Manchester United fans are paying attention. We're watching every match. We're analyzing every decision. We're hoping for the best but preparing ourselves for the reality that this is going to take time. But at least now we have something to be excited about. A new formation. A new approach. A new reason to believe that better days are ahead. Keep following United Daily Updates. That's all for today's deep dive into Ruben Amorim's tactical changes at Manchester United. I hope this gave you a clear understanding of what happened against Bournemouth and what it means for our club going forward. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please subscribe to our YouTube channel United Daily Updates. We cover every match, every tactical change, and every piece of news about Manchester United. We're here to keep you informed and help you understand what's really happening at our club. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And join our community of United fans who are passionate about this club and want to see us succeed. Together, we'll follow this journey wherever it leads. Through the ups and downs. Through the tactical experiments and the learning curves. Through the frustrations and the celebrations. Because that's what being a Manchester United fan is all about. Sticking with your team. Believing in your club. and never giving up hope that glory days will return. Thanks for reading and subscribing. If not, try to do it. See you in the next one. Glory, glory, Man United.